Welcome to Dealmakers. I'm Sarah Sharp. I'm a deal attorney who helps people buy and sell businesses every day. And I'm going to tell you the number one best business to buy in 2025. And if you know me at all, you already know what I'm about to say. So you can just skip this and go to the next videos. The best business to buy in 2025 is, I guess I should say, before I get into it, if you find this valuable, please like and subscribe. If you're new to this channel, it really helps us out. And while you're at it, check out dealacademy.org if you're interested in putting together a compelling offer on a business. We have courses that'll show you all of that and give you some direction. So you might be thinking I'm saying that the best businesses to buy in 2025 are going to be a laundromat or a car wash. Or if you know me on a personal level, I've probably told you that I really want to invest in boat storage. I think it sounds like a great business model. But the one hottest business to buy in 2025 is bookkeeping. It's an accounting practice. I see a ton of people interested in it. It's recession proof. And even the worst case scenario that we see on a political stage, whatever that might be, for a tax practice, right? They're all worried about having a flat tax. But somebody still has to figure out what to put the flat tax on. And the definition of what that income is going to be, is going to be like a hard one, very argued, descriptive question. And these accounting practices are, no matter what change comes down the pike, they do better. Also, have you ever tried to find a new bookkeeper or accountant? Because the way that I can tell anyone goes about trying to find one is they contact anyone they know in the space. And then that person says, let me check to see if my person is accepting new clients. And then half the time says that, I'm sorry, they're not accepting new clients. When does that ever happen in any other industry? But that's how high the demand is and how low the ability to meet the demand is. That's how high the demand is. So, fantastic industry to invest in. The other reason is because the multiples. You have the ability to get finance. The SBA program, whenever it came out, the way that it works is the government said to a lot of banks, this is a high level version, but the government basically said to a lot of banks, we're going to create the Small Business Administration and we're going to back these somewhat risky loans as long as you make them for people to buy and sell small businesses. So right now it's below 5 million in purchase price and it's for primarily full 100% buyouts of a company, primarily. So if that's what you're trying to do, you can go to a lot of different banks and they will actually loan you up to 100% of the amount of the money it takes for you to buy that business. That is super impactful in the accounting industry because it used to be that before that, everything was seller financed over the course of many, many years. But that turned everything on its head and made it so that banks that historically would not have felt comfortable lending against such a weird asset. I say it's a weird asset because it's not got warehouse full of widgets. So there's nothing you can go repossess if it turns out that the loan goes bad. It's just a client list and goodwill. It's very mushy. What does that even mean? It's certainly not something that a bank wants to go take and try to make money out of. So there's basically no collateral that's real. There's very limited collateral backing these loans. Most banks, absent the SBA program, would not make a loan against promises of future cash flow. That's too nebulous. So, and they certainly wouldn't loan 100% of the buyout on promises of future collateral. But SBA program says, hey, we're gonna back a great portion, the vast majority of the amount that you loan under this program, as long as you follow our rules called SOPs, then if there's a default, we insure it. Like the FDIC thing after the Great Depression, I'm pretty sure. I haven't researched my history in a long time, but I'm pretty sure that's what the FDIC started doing, is insuring $1 million of each bank account because they didn't want the Great Depression, the run on banks to happen again. Similarly, the SBA insures these loans. So because of that, you can go and you can get a 7A loan. You can get up to 100% in certain circumstances of the loan amount from the bank that you need to buy one of these accounting practices. So another part, and the reason at the beginning, if you noticed, I said that the best business to buy in 2025 was bookkeeping, not accounting, is a lot of people don't realize that there's, this big umbrella of different types of accounting. There's audit and attest, which you usually need a CPA license to be able to do. That's over here. It's typically project-based and it's very skilled labor. There's tax practice. The fun thing about a pure tax practice, if you're looking to buy one, is it really matters when you're buying it in the calendar year, right? Because if you're buying it right after they made 100% of their revenue for the year at the end of a tax season, then you better be prepared to float the working capital for like 8 or 9 months until you're at the next tax season. But you can't buy them in the middle of tax season because everyone's too busy. So you really have a narrow range if it's a tax practice to buy. Bookkeeping, however, is hard to find in a standalone capacity. But if you can find a pure bookkeeping practice, often they have monthly recurring revenue. So everyone is called MRR, and there's clients are signed up, to pay a certain amount every month to make sure that their books are reconciled. And usually it is, strictly speaking, like only bookkeeping firm is not doing the tax prep. It's certainly not doing audit and attest. So it doesn't need somebody who is a CPA or an EA or anything like that to be running it. Just regular folks can buy a bookkeeping practice as long as they're not doing that other stuff. So that opens up a lot of different buyers. And if you're going to buy it to grow it and sell it, you're going to be able to take advantage of the fact that you've got a lot of different buyers on the back end. Another reason is that monthly recurring revenue is very rare. Most tax practices, certainly on an audit and attest, and most businesses generally outside of accounting are unpredictable. But yet bookkeeping with their monthly recurring revenue really starts to look more like a typical SaaS deal and software as a service, where you can predict and really project out saying, okay, well, if we have average of 5% attrition on our client base year over year, but we have this many people signed up, we predict with pretty good levels of accuracy what we're going to make next year. And that is so powerful and so rare in the context of something like professional services. The other reason why bookkeeping is the best business to buy in 2025 is because the profit margin can be really big. If it's not in the business you're looking at, you already know just by looking at it how to increase the profit margin. And pretty much anybody who even knew what MBA stood for could figure out how to increase the profit margin. There's lots of great qualified offshore labor. There's lots of AI solutions. There are so many ways, and the market really bears an increase in rates often. And most people are moving remote. So there's a lot of really low-hanging fruit or low-hanging levers you can pull to increase the profit margin of a bookkeeping practice right away. And so you can buy $1 million practice that's making $300,000 a year, and by the end of the first year have it making $500 without even bringing in new clients. And that's a regular change. So then you're paying on a loan for, something that you've already improved and are reaping the benefits of. So for all of these reasons, bookkeeping practice, the prevalence of 7A loan buyouts, absolutely the best practice, the best industry, the best business to buy in 2025. Just good luck finding one because they're not that common, and the people who do like bookkeeping are hanging on to it because it's a great deal. It can be a real lifestyle business. And for the final reason that people love scooping up bookkeeping businesses in 2025 is because they complement everything else that you're doing as an entrepreneur. And that is, I think, the real final bow tying it together is if you are looking at several different investments, or if you're like me and you've got several companies that you run, it can be really powerful to have a bookkeeping company to keep all your books straight, because I pay a ton of money to sort through all the books and make sure that I'm prepared for each tax season. If I could bring that in-house, you better believe I would. And at the end of this video, I just talked myself into trying to buy a bookkeeping firm. So if you feel the same, please like and subscribe, visit Deal Academy, and have a great day.